A naked American podcaster stole my balloons because American Werewolf in London is coming up next.
Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevene. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time, and today that is myself, Tommy. This is a horror movie. I'm going to assume you've seen it.
Yeah, seen it multiple times. Love it.
And I know for our very special guest joining us here, Sean, aka Film School Dad. You can find him on YouTube at Film School Dad. He is also on Twitter or X at film_school_dad. Sean, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us here. Is this is your first time watching this movie? I know you sent Tommy a list of horror movies you hadn't seen before.
Hey, thank you so much, and honestly, thank you for having me, and thanks for the underscores. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Um,
No confusion here. We do not have any confusion.
no, I
I may
honestly,
have been
much
reading it
respect.
off my
I
phone, but
When I heard that underscore, I was like, all right, thank you. All right. Yeah, so this is the first time I ever watched the movie, and I watched it two times in the past 24 hours because I really wanted to like dig into it. But I'm happy to say, not only have I never seen it before, but I never really saw screenshots. I never really saw a trailer for it. I was really blind to the movie, other than knowing it's a classic. A lot of people say it's a great one, and that I'm pretty sure I was aware of the transformation scene being something really special. But that's really all I knew. I hadn't seen it.
yeah.
Yeah, so this
I
was really fun for me.
I was the same way. I'd seen the poster before, like a bunch of times, because it's a very iconic film poster. Like I remember shopping in college for movie posters, and that one was always on like allposters.com or whatever website you bought posters from. I never seen it, obviously, because as our listeners know, Tommy is the horror guy of the two of us. Tommy, this is not your first time though, correct?
I've watched this is probably like my fifth or sixth viewing, maybe. This.
Fifth or
Uh,
sixth viewing?
I have the 4K. Love this movie. Seen it multiple times over the years. I think I first watched this in high school or something like that. When because this is one of those movies that showed up on like Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments that I had to go see when I was like in like high school. And like I was like, I need to check the ones off the list I haven't seen before. And this was a fantastic trip. It's always a great rewatch.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like, I really appreciate with these like older horror movies how much slower the pace is, which makes like the actual scary moments more tense versus when I think of like contemporary horror movies. A lot of them are, you know, 10 minutes of exposition setting up just and then just scare creepy moments, and it's just kind of nonstop, and it never really lets its foot off the pedal. I really kind of enjoyed the pacing and the structure of this one. For you, Sean, we were talking before, so you're not really a horror guy at all. What would you say are some of the horror movies that you have seen that you do like, so we get a bit of a sense of your taste?
Sure. Oh, this is a good one. So, I am a Freddy Krueger guy. I love
Hell
Freddy,
yeah.
right?
Same here.
I grew up on Freddy. I was always like a class clown when I was growing up. I love that Freddy, especially like in the later movies, like he was cracking a joke before he was murdering you. I really appreciated that. I always remembered like one of the kills was like he scratched the chalkboard because this guy had a hearing aid, and he made the hearing aid really big, and then his ear blew up. I like Freddy. Freddy was cool. And I appreciated that. That is maybe the extent.
Oh
There are a
wow.
lot of classics that I've never seen, and I haven't seen like the Halloween films. I haven't seen Friday the 13th.
Mm,
Um,
We'll get into that.
I haven't seen
And
The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby.
ooh,
Like I was just talking about this the other day. Like I have so many good horror classics that I need to catch up on.
Exorcist is fantastic. Uh,
Yeah, we covered it on the pod like 2 or 3 years ago. Tim never saw it, but it really plays. It really hits.
Is
We
that
had
Fadekin? That's Fadekin,
Friedkin.
right?
Freakin'.
Friedkin.
I'm sorry. I'm just finding out about him, to be totally honest, and I've got a lot of catching up on him to do. So yeah, I want to see that also. It's been a big year for me. I've been watching a lot of stuff I'm catching up on. So
Well, that's a perfect
um,
segue into our first segment here. Where what have you watched recently? Tommy, why don't you kick it off? That way Sean gets a feel for how we do things.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll first just kick off recently. I saw Scream on the big screen
So
again.
did I.
One of my favorite movies. Loved it. Always plays fantastically on the big screen. But I want to dig into a newer movie that just came out last week. It was a remake. It was released straight to Hulu. But it was the Hand That Rocks the Cradle remake. So Hand That Rocks the Cradle is a movie that I pitched briefly for us to cover in the pod this month, the original. Which basically the original is a movie where a couple hires a nanny. And it turns out the nanny is out for revenge against the couple, and it's like definitely in the vein of like Fatal Attraction and like Pacific Heights and those like era of like early '90s yuppie thrillers where it's fun, but it's total trash. It's like totally like fun trash where like for some reason the original Ernie Hudson plays a mentally disabled guy. It does not age well whatsoever. It's like, oh my god. But this remake thankfully does not have the Ernie Hudson character. They realized that was not a thing that would play well in 2025. But overall, the remake very bland. Micaiah Monroe, the girl from Long Legs and It Follows, she plays the nanny, and then Mary Elizabeth Winstead from like Final Destination 3 and like a bunch of other random movies, she plays the mom, and their dynamic is good. Both of them are good in the cast, but it just seems like a Hollywood remake that like you could see why it was released straight to Hulu because it's just there's no color palette to it whatsoever. It's just a weird thing that we have in modern movies where so many modern movies are just devoid of color. Where it's like they're afraid to have like color burst out of the screen. Like the original
Well,
Hand That Rocks the Cradle takes place during the fall. You see all these lush color, like fall
that
color
autumn
tones.
orange.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Whereas this one is just like the building, the house they stay in is completely white and gray and like devoid of anything, and the whole thing is like devoid of saturation. Where it's just like, what are we doing? Like this looks ugly. So
So one of the things that I saw about that is it's about the resolution quality, and since everything is getting so upscaled and so realistic, and you can see everyone's pores on their faces, it like saturates from that color and being able to like effectively light shots because of that like image resolution quality. So like the higher the scale, like the worse it looks versus like film, which is a a lower resolution per se,
mhm.
doesn't have that issue when it's shot on that, and then it can be restored and upscaled and kept into that color palette, but it can't it that seems to be one of the bigger issues is just these resolution shots, and then something like the something like that, which is just going to get $15 million budget. They're not going to be able to put the money into it to be able to. It's going to be shot on digital. It's going to be shot in the highest quality, and it's just going to be spat out on Hulu and forgotten about in a month.
Literally, this movie is like destined to be like buried in the Hulu algorithm. It's disappointing because I love the first one. The first one, just the original, is like a fun '90s capstone thriller. I mean, like if you like Basic Instinct or Fatal Attraction, check out the original. This new one, McCammon Rogue is a good villain performance, but overall, it almost seems forgettable already. And I saw this like 4 days ago. So
Well, that's saying something. Sean, how about you? What have you watched recently?
so I've been trying to watch a bunch of horror movies and catch up because it's Halloween. So trying to be in the spirit. I did just watch It Follows for the first time. You just mentioned
oh yeah.
that one of the characters, right, was in It Follows, and I watched that 2 days ago for the first time. I really liked it, but I felt like it was maybe lacking a third act. And
Mm.
I don't know if that was just because I was really starting to get into the movie. And I thought that there was something more coming, but it sort of just kind of ends. And maybe I need to watch it again. I'm not sure. Maybe it was hyped up too much for me because I definitely heard that it was incredible. I like the vibes,
Mm.
but I didn't feel like other than a sort of STD metaphor. I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so actually, I saw that last week too. Some nearby theater did a screening of it, so it's one of my favorite horror movies of the last decade. But I do agree with you. The metaphor sometimes is weird, but like, I think it's a movie that's all about like trying to escape death and realizing you can't escape death whatsoever. So I don't want to spoil it for Tim who's never seen it because we're probably going to cover that at some point. But the movie in general is just like great vibes. The score, I used to study that score in college. The like cool synth score.
And see, I wanted to stay there. I think that was the issue. Is like I wanted just a little bit more because I was having a good time, like the vibes all the way. And oh, question, what's up with the girl's shell phone, right? Like there's like a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
chatter online about the shell phone, and the whole time I was watching it, I'm going like, wait, is it the 80s? Is she read? What is this thing that she has? I
So Tim, for you who have never seen the movie, there's a character that has a shelf. Basically, the whole movie seems like it's like taking place like in the 80s or 90s because you
Yeah.
don't really see phones or anything. But the one character has like a shell phone reader. It's literally like looks like a shell, like a seashell, and it's like a Kindle type thing. And you see it, and Sean, it's crazy, right? Like looking at you, like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's wild the whole time. Like I know this thing is following them and it's gonna kill them. I'm like, what is up with this girl? Who is this girl? What does she have in her hand?
Yeah,
That is pretty. I will cover it next October. I don't know.
If you Google shell phone from It Follows, you will find just like Reddit threads. It's
and
crazy.
it's a weird thing that like it should exist. Like it's not like it's that complicated technology, but for some reason it we have not made the It Follows shell phone a real thing. And what are
I'm
we doing
still
here?
thinking about the clam phone from It Follows from Collider. Oh, okay. I see what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
that is interesting. That is certainly interesting. Um, all right, It Follows. Sean, would you recommend it?
I mean, if you like movies, it's a movie. I liked it. Um, you know what, Tommy, you said it was like your favorite horror movie of the last 10 years. So now I want to like it more. So I think you
Yeah.
should watch it. But
Oh,
I don't know, like it was a fun watch, but I think I need to see it again. I'm a big like two-time guy. I think I need to see it again.
okay.
Um,
I definitely feel that. I mean, I think when I first watched it, I watched it in my parents' house on my laptop at like midnight. Um, Lights off, completely engaged, locked in, and it just got to me. So sometimes with horror, you got to do that.
I think I'm also like oversaturating myself with horror this month also. I just
Been
watched like
there.
Weapons and The
Oh,
Substance and a
Weapons is
bunch of
good.
Freddy movie. I enjoyed Weapons, but I think I think maybe it was hyped up too much for me too.
I
Yeah.
could definitely see that. I got to see it like that opening weekend, which I think was perfect before everybody told me it was the greatest movie that's ever been made. Which it's a good movie. I wouldn't go that far with it. But yeah, It Follows. Check it out. I know last week I mentioned I watched Friday the 13th Part 2. In the time since, I have now watched Friday the 13th Part 3
You're
and
becoming a
Part
Jason head.
4.
You're becoming a Jason head.
I'm certainly not becoming a Jason head. My girlfriend and I are astonished by these films.
Yeah.
Film is a generous word for them. Uh, 3 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Three is god awful, and
They have this character Shelley who
oh,
he looks like Jeff Roth and Seth Rogen had a love child, and he is just the most obnoxious character you've ever seen in one of these things. I just I don't under and Friday the 13th Part 3 is like a 3D. It's like they ran out of ideas. They're like, what if we do it in 3D this time? And
it
there's
was the
just
80s
so
trend because that was the time of Jaws 3D and Amityville 3D. I think that was all in the same year. But it was
yeah,
like, yeah, let's bring back 3D. Like, come on, it's a total thing.
and it's just I guess they try I guess in 10 years we're gonna get another try a revival of the 3D trend again. But man oh man was like it was so obnoxious and so clear. It wasn't like there was no clever three use of 3D at all in the movie. It's just like an object directly into the lens of the camera that's moving back and forth. That's
I think they
all
literally
the
had like one of those like ping pong like paddle
yeah.
thing or something like that.
And then there's one shot with where Freddy like squishes a guy's head and the eyeball pops out, and you can literally see the eyeball stop moving. Like it just
You,
stops before
first
they
first
cut
of
out
all,
the tread
don't
because it was clearly like it was on a string or something and they just ran out of.
Sold.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
seated. I'm seated.
You're seated, exactly. There.
it's one of those things with the Jason movies. You know what you're getting. You know you're gonna get like some like cool kills, terrible acting, and then like I don't know, maybe you'll see some nudity or something like that. Like when you're a teenage boy, that was like, oh, holy shit, let's throw a Friday the
Is
13th.
that still a thing for teenage boys? I feel like
I feel like that's not really. I mean, like,
there's
isn't
so
the
much
whole
accessibility to nudity nowadays. Which is a problem in and of itself, but like I feel like seeing a pair of boobies as like a 15-year-old doesn't hit the same
yeah
for
exactly. Does the kid
15-year-olds
like
nowadays. Like they
does
complain
the
about it. They're
kid
like, there's too much of it. It's like, what?
like if Basic Instinct came out, would like any kid today give a shit about it? Would that be
No.
a thing? Because I remember we talked about Basic Instinct, or the kids from the Sandlot snuck into that movie to go see it
Yeah.
because they're all like, "Oh shit, an R-rated movie with Sharon Stone," but like kids today probably like, "I don't know."
Yeah. Um, yeah. There's just no plot in these movies either. It's just a collection of people like walking around the woods. Um,
It's all you need.
Is that what happens in those movies? Because I haven't seen that
yeah.
entire franchise. They just walk
So
around and
I'll
They go
tell you
to
the plot of every single
yeah, it
Friday the
sounds
13th.
good.
Every Friday the 13th is they go to this cabin in the woods, and then all of a sudden they start partying, they start smoking, they start drinking, they
I
start
start having sex.
sex, and then Jason comes and appears out of nowhere and kills people. That's
And
the
then
end.
one or two people survive at the end and they kill Jason. And then they spend the 15 minutes of the next movie explaining how Jason is alive, just giving some BS excuse for it.
I
They
love it.
are, but I watch it with my girlfriend and we'll have a drink and then we'll talk over it and we'll make fun of it because they're baffling and ridiculous, which is fun. I was
Yeah.
saying to you before, I was like, if you were like, we're watching Friday the 13th and I had to watch it after work by myself in my apartment, I would be so miserable. I would be like, I hate you, Tommy. Also,
They are they are
I think if we cover these on the podcast at any point in time, we have to cover like five of them to just even have enough meat on the bones because
yeah,
straight
exactly.
up there's not enough to talk about in those movies.
There's straight up not enough meat, and it's one of those things. I think I said this last week when you brought up the watch part two, that these movies are just the perfect drinking game movies. If our buddy Dowling like loved horror movies, we'd probably be watching Friday the 13th in the basement. And then the rules are simple: every time you hear you get a kill, every time you see like nudity, and every time you hear the Jason theme like over and over again, then you take a drink. And I've done that in, like as pre games in college before. It's like, oh, let's just watch it Friday the 13th. Let's just like have a couple drinks. Next thing you know, your four drink stamp.
It explains so much about you, Tommy. It truly does. They're just weird movies to have such like a following to them because they're all bad, and I don't quite get how they've like survived this long in the pop culture ethos. I feel like they rode Freddy Krueger's coattails, for lack of a better term,
Well,
and
if
just
anything,
like
they rode,
We have Jason.
yeah, they rode Michael Myers because the original Friday the 13th was a
Well,
rip
yeah.
off of Halloween.
Oh yeah,
And
it's a rip
then,
off of Halloween.
yeah, yeah.
Much better movie, by the way. Much better movie.
Oh, exactly. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis versus I don't even know who's the most famous person as a final girl on Friday the 13th.
Corey Feldman.
Yeah, Corey Feldman. That's true.
He's probably the most famous final girl.
Though I do have to ask you, how amazing was Crispin Glover's dancing in part four? Remember
Oh,
that
it
dance scene?
was just tremendous. It was
So, Sean, just to let you fill in, there's one scene in Friday the 13th Part 4 that Crispin Glover, the dad from Back to the Future, is in the
No, I was
scene.
about to say I'll watch the whole thing now for him. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Crispin,
It,
go.
His character's like a nerd that like can't get laid or ever, and like they all make fun of him, like, "Oh, you're a dead fuck, man." And
yeah,
then there's one scene where he puts on music, and apparently the music was supposed to be Back in Black, but they didn't have the rights, the budget to afford Back in Black, so they put on some generic '80s hair metal shit, and he does a dance, and it's the most psychotic fucking dance you ever seen in your life.
it's true Crispin Glover behavior, is the best
He's
way
like
to put it.
spazzing out and everything like that.
I mean, that's
But
probably the most, and that's the Friday the 13th franchise. That's Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
part
yeah.
this
four.
is part four.
So it's the most interesting thing you guys have said about the whole thing so far because my perspective was always assuming that it was pretty good and I was missing out on like I
Yeah.
so let me say I'm
You're
so I'm
missing out if you watch
40,
it with friends.
right? I'm 40 years old. I've never seen them ever, okay?
Mm.
Okay.
So I would assume that they're great, right? They're so popular and famous, and that people like collect everything, right? And you guys are like, nah, it's pretty bad, It's like cool, you could like get drunk to it, but like, they suck. This has been amazing for me. I really appreciate this perspective,
You should
and
watch it with like the
I
wife or
sort
some
of now want to
friends.
watch them now. Yeah,
Yeah, just
Yeah,
like
now
yeah.
I want to.
they're all
Like
on
it's
Paramount Plus if you have that. It's
I do, yeah.
this
they're
is perfect Halloween season. Like if you're having like a Halloween party with some friends, put on a Friday 13th in the
they're
background.
also 85 to 90 minutes. They're
Perfect. Yeah,
they're
exactly. They
quick.
they know they know their place.
And there will be a point about 15 to 20 minutes into them where you and your wife will just look at each other and go, what is this? What are we doing right now? And you will have that reaction to it because it's just going to be like two teenagers wandering around in the woods, and that's pretty much what's going to happen. And
Is
but yeah,
there dialogue? Do they, is
Oh,
there
I mean,
they
yeah,
interesting? Is it like
they're talking.
talking about
uh, I,
stuff,
I
or
mean
is it just
I
like a waste of time until they're murdered?
it's not
Essentially,
it's the dialogue is baffling a lot of times. So they're like they're good bad movies, I guess is the best way to put it. Is
yeah,
And
they
exactly.
should I just start with the first one? Like I'll take a recommendation. Like
I mean
give me a
t
recommendation, yeah.
So I'll say this about the first one. Might be a slight spoiler. I'm not a big fan of the first one because Jason's not the killer on that one. If you've seen Scream, they spoil it. But
I've heard that. It's right, it's the mother, right? Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Okay, so
know
yeah,
enough about popular culture. Yeah, it's the mom.
yeah.
It's the mom.
Like, I'm the film school dad. Excuse me. I know.
excuse me here.
I
All
know
all
film
right, all
school.
right, okay.
No, no, no. But the first one's like the mom, and they make it a who done it, but the mom isn't introduced until like 5 minutes before she's revealed as the killer. So it's like, what are we doing here? But once it gets into Jason, it becomes just like a trasher piece.
I
So
think I'm more interested in that then, right?
I would start with part two. They do like a quick like 10 minute recap of oh yeah, also to pad out the runtime in these movies, the first 5 to 10 minutes is just a recap of the last movie.
yeah,
So it's like the Spider-Man intro, the old.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, no,
I'm
like
sorry, I'm
the
sorry. That's-
no,
No, but literally.
it's like those, but not as concise, is
Well,
probably the
it was
best way to put it.
it was also a thing though back in the '80s, like before home video like really took off. Like
Oh yeah.
Rocky two, the Rocky series had that also. When you watch Rocky two and Rocky three and even Rocky four, the first like 5-10 minutes are just like, here's what happened previously on Rocky.
Yeah, because there's no guarantee that you've seen this movie any
Yeah,
time in the
yeah.
last 5 years. You might need something to like. It makes sense. It's
that's a
just
really good. No, that's a really good point. Actually, it's like okay, you're
Yeah, yeah.
watching number three. This is what's. That's cool. All right, I'm gonna watch number two. I'll watch two.
yeah. Start with two. Let us know how you like it. I'm almost positive though that you will not like it as much as you enjoyed An American Werewolf in London.
Take it from Wolfman Jack, the critics and I agree. This is the most outrageous horror film that you'll ever see because David is having the most frightening nightmares of his life.
I think I did some terrible things last night, things I can't remember.
It may have been someone he ate. From the director of Animal House, a different kind of animal. An American Werewolf in London, rated R.
Now playing in a selected theater near you. Check your local newspaper for listing.
Can I just say we've listened to a lot of TV spots. That's the worst announcer voice I've ever
Well,
heard
you know
over
who
one of them.
Wolfman Jack is, right?
Yeah.
Wolfman Jack was like this like radio DJ that was very popular in like the '80s. He was always like a cult DJ, and he would show up and stuff like he would show up in random horror movies as like
Was that him?
whatever. Yeah, that was Wolfman Jack,
Oh,
literally.
okay, that makes sense. An American Werewolf in London is a 1981 supernatural comedy horror film written and directed by John Landis. The film stars David Naughton, Jenny Agutter, Griffin Dunne, and John Woodvine. The title is a cross between An American in Paris, and Werewolf in London. The film's plot follows two American backpackers, David and Jack, who are under attack by a werewolf while traveling in England, causing David to become a werewolf under the next full moon. So this, I guess a good place to start with this one is I like to start this one with like the start of this movie. I really feel like the ambiance they set off when they're traveling uh in the moors of England, just they get randomly dropped off by a sheep trucker.
Yeah, I mean, very not subtle. Just like, hey, like these are sheep to slaughter.
Yeah, not subtle, and they're getting told to be able to, stay out of the moor, stick on the road. And they come to the local pub, the Slaughtered Lamb, and that's really where the movie kind of flips on a dime. Well, first of all, this movie has crazy horny energy, and it's in like the intro dialogue of this movie, by the way, where they're talking about what's her name? Becky something.
Yeah, yeah, Becky
Griffin
Dunn.
Dunne is just talking about this girl that he wants to sleep with and how he's in love with her, and David is just like, no, you don't love her, you just want to sleep with her. So at least it hints at that energy first. But when they walk into the slaughtered lamb and it's like a pin could drop in there as everybody turns to see these strangers coming into this local pub.
John Landis loves those scenes because he has that in Animal House too.
Oh yeah, when when they go to the
Yeah, all Black Club.
oh, they go to the all black club in Animal House. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, he definitely loves that one. And for me, I really liked it because it doesn't explain what the mythology of the area is, other than the fact that you realize something is wrong in the area with like the pentagram on the walls and the burnt cameras, candles, and everybody just acting very suspiciously towards them. Um, so Tommy and John, for you guys, like that for me, that was the moment where I'm like, okay, this movie's gonna click for me. I think this movie's gonna work for me. In your guys' watch throughs, when was that moment for you?
here, Sean, you go first.
So the moment that it worked for me, I liked the opening shots. I immediately was kind of taken in by the landscape. I appreciated because again, I didn't know what I was going to expect. I go, okay, this movie looks good. I like the way it looks, and I like right off the bat. Again, they're in the back of the truck. They're sheep. They're in there. There's sort of like animalistic stuff going on, and they're giving the rules right off the bat. I sort of like that we knew exactly what was going on right away. I like that. I wasn't sure how I felt when they started talking because the dialogue is very kind of like jokey and they're sort of talking to each other in a way that I wasn't prepared for. So again, I wasn't sure what was going on. They're talking about the girl and they're acting kind of like silly. But I think that as soon as I heard the werewolf howl, I was like, okay, I'm 100% into this movie because it was such a like a chilling howl. I'm going to be
Mhm.
really honest. Like the first 10, 15 minutes, I wasn't sold yet because I thought maybe the bar scene was a little hokey and I was a little annoyed with like Griffin Dunn's character. He's like, hey, what about that pentagram? It was just very obvious. And I wasn't sure like, how is this classic movie that everyone's obsessed with? But
Mhm.
when I heard the howl and when we saw the werewolf for the first time and we saw the attack, I was I was 1,000,000% sold on the movie and I was excited to go on the rest of like the journey of the movie. And then again when I rewatched it, I love the first scene and I love the conversation and it all makes more sense and the tone of the film as you kind of go through the whole thing, it makes more sense in the beginning. But yeah, it was that howl for me.
Yeah, and for me, like with the Howl, it's a great movie with like your sound system and stuff like that because you can hear like different left and right channels and stuff like that going on and off. I think that almost immediately I was sold on this movie, like the second it started. Or like you get in the sheep thing. I was like, okay, and the Griffin Dunn interplay. This is our second Griffin Dunn movie we've covered in the span of a month because we
Oh
did
yeah,
After Hours last month. Great movie too. Um,
Such a great movie. Such a great movie.
yeah,
really
really
fun.
fun movie. But this movie in general, I think that like the whole entire like tone that John Landis is going for is really good through line. I mean, I think this is like probably the platonic ideal of a horror comedy right here. because like there's moments in this movie where like the wolf design is insane, and I like that it's not like what we see like the Lon Chaney kind of thing where it's just like a guy in a suit with like a bunch of fur in his face, like Teen Wolf or something like that. It's like literally like a fucking beast.
Yeah,
You know.
that beast design is crazy, and that first transformation where we kind of see it all happen
Mm.
is nuts. Like that just growth. It was so disgusting and so uneasy, and you're just like,
It's
yeah,
amazing. It's amazing,
Yeah.
and it makes me miss practical effects because watching the hand grow, watching the face expand is amazing. I mean, like that is what that's what like movies are for. Like they filmed that. They filmed that on like with a camera. Like that's exciting to me. They didn't do that on a computer. And I don't want to get into the whole like CGI versus practical, but you can feel
the
the
difference.
movement. You can feel, yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, it was
I mean,
great. It was so
there's a
good.
reason why this was like the first movie. I think this is the first year they ever did the Oscar for best makeup and special
It is. It
effects,
was the inaugural.
and this won the inaugural Oscar for it.
Oh, that's so cool.
And
I didn't know that. That's really cool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And well deservingly.
literally because that whole like special effects scene is like, who did it was Rick Baker who did the special effects. He also did like the Star Wars. He did like the cantina scene in Star Wars, like all the special, all the aliens and stuff like that in that scene.
Talk about one that he this came out in 1981. He probably should have won it in 1977 too.
Yeah, 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 literally. So it's one of those things that like the fact that they go into pain and the lengths of showing you the transformation scene, all while like a cover of Blue Moon is playing over it. It's just like a weirdly darkly like humorous thing. Where it's like all this thing is immediately like he's like thinking like, oh, nothing's gonna happen, and then it just happens at a drop of a dime where immediately he has like a migraine and he starts screaming. He starts really feeling it.
It's out of nowhere, I know. And when it happened, I'm watching it for the first time last night. So it probably happens around like 9 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, okay. They're just going for it. Like he's screaming, he's sweating. Like this is happening right now. I sort of thought it was going to be a slower build. It was incredible. And yeah,
Especially because the way the movie lulls you into thinking that nothing's going to happen. Because like right before we have the scene of the Korean Water revival song playing, like Bad Moon Rising, while like he's just like lounging around the house and just like hanging out and montage. It's like, oh, this is a fun little scene. And then immediately cuts to that. It's like, oh shit, it's
Did the
jarring.
movie lull you into a sense that it wasn't going to happen? Because when he's in the hospital, he just keeps having these dream sequences
oh,
of
I
him.
love the dream
I
sequences. We
did
can
too.
talk
Those
about
were
those in a
great.
little bit. Yeah,
Uh,
those are so cool.
I think we touched upon this now. I think this is one of the first cases of the double fake out nightmare, where he
Oh
has the
yeah.
first nightmare, and we have a
Is it
Muppets
really?
game. I think it was at least one of the first. We have like the whole first scene with the Muppets where he's dreaming about like being back home with his family, and then they're watching the Muppets, which we'll touch upon later. And then all of a sudden the Nazi werewolves come in, kill his whole family, and then it's like holy shit! It's a really jarring, insane scene. They're like balls to the wall.
It's so nuts.
Yeah,
I don't know where the Nazi part came into it. Like there was the
it's so
doctor.
random. Yeah,
The doctor mentioned his war injuries, and he mentioned Rommel. If you are not a World War II scholar like I am, Rommel served in the Hitler's army. He was his best general. He served in the African campaign, famously double crossed. There's a whole thing behind Rommel, but like that was the only mention of the Nazis, and this takes place. It seems to be contemporary to England, 1980s. So I
yeah.
don't
This is
really know where the
81.
Nazi werewolves came into this.
I think it was just the uniform and machine gun. It was like sort of like Wolfenstein. And they sort of look like Nazis, but I don't know if
I'm
it's
not sure.
canon. I don't know if it's canon.
I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to
yeah.
think they were just like, what can we dress these werewolves up as? And they just, whatever set they were on, they're just like, yeah, we have a bunch of Nazi costumes. And they just threw them on these werewolves. They're just like, all right, that's going to work. Like it wasn't in the script that they were like
Yeah.
Nazi werewolves. They just found these costumes and threw them on them.
Just like fuck it, let's go. But the fact that it ends that scene, and then he wakes up and he's like right next to Jenny Auger, who plays Augator, who plays Alex Price, the nurse, and she's like, oh, like rise and shine, and then all of a sudden she opens the curtain, another Nazi werewolf pops out, slits her throat, and then he wakes up. He's like, holy shit! It was amazing. It was just like weapons, like we were talking about earlier
And then
when Josh.
And then he gets
weapons in the
woken
chest.
up by the orderly, right? With the like rise and shine, here's your breakfast, and he's got like the bacon and eggs, and then that's when Griffin Dunne re-enters the movie as
Yeah.
his undead form.
Oh,
Uh
and even that is fantastic. The makeup effects on Griffin Dunne, right? Like
It was
you
gorgeous.
see
It
him,
was amazing.
yeah, and you see
and
him more and more deteriorating.
and then you don't know if he's dreaming there or not either.
Mhm.
When he's like
Yeah.
explaining to him like you have become the werewolf. I will be
I
wandering the
actually,
earth until I die, until you die.
you know, the second time I watched the movie, so that was like this morning, I had a lot of questions about the visions, and I was wondering if they were, hallucinations as he's becoming more of a werewolf and it's kind of overtaking his mind and his body and his psyche, or if he was just having these dreams. And I think it's the fourth vision. I like took a bunch of notes. I'm not going to go to them now, but like I remember, I think it was like the fourth one. He wakes up, and that's the one where it's officially a dream, and it's like the dream within a dream.
Mhm.
And so, okay, he's having these crazy dreams, but I like that there's no explanation to them. It's sort of just here it is, and you can kind of take it one way or another.
Because I'm
Well,
trying to think of like other werewolf movies. I mean, this is the same year as The Howling, the Joe Dante movie, which I watched recently too. That movie rocks, but that doesn't have anything like that, where like a person that was slain by a werewolf
well, there's like
now
the
is
wolf, the
undead.
classic Wolfman,
I don't
Universal.
think I definitely think that doesn't touch upon that either. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if this is something that John Landis just created himself because he wrote this movie too.
Well, Tommy, can I ask you a question? Because you've seen this like a few times, right? And I know you
Yeah,
like it.
yeah,
So, what did you think? So, the first vision is just him kind of running through the woods, and it's just like the camera through the trees, right? And it's a fast moving, just camera through the trees, right?
mhm.
What is that? Like, what do you think is happening? What's your
I think that
interpretation?
I think part of it is just like hallucination, and part of it's like fever dream almost.
I
Where
think
like,
it's his when he's sleeping, his werewolf form is taking
yeah,
over his dreams.
Yeah, see, I thought both things too. It's like
yeah,
Like
I
he
I
would interpret it.
appreciate that they don't tell you specifically. I like that about this movie.
yeah.
And
There's no
like
ex there's no werewolf expert in this movie really.
no exposition, and I'm really
Well,
glad.
except Griffin Dunne, he knows everything. He
Well,
died, and
yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
"Listen, here's the
Mhm,
deal. You're cursed."
mhm.
You're cursed. You got to kill yourself, bro. Bro, I love you, dude. You
He
got
knows a
to.
little too much.
Actually, the
What
funny
I love
the
about what I love about Griffin Dunn in this movie is that once he's in his undead form, apparently this is direction too, but he's so cheerful. He's like not like haunting. He's just a bro. He's like, hey man, like hey, remember Becky? She was at my funeral. She cried, man.
she cried, and then she fell into whoever's lap. Can
Oh
you
yeah, like the
believe it?
guy around the corner. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just such a funny thing that even when like by the end of the movie when they're in the porno theater, and
Which
apparently
was
that's
crazy, by the way, that there was
insane.
just a porno theater, and you were mentioning this before, Tommy. The lore of it was that when John Landis went to London in the 60s, like they had all these small theaters that would show like Looney Tunes and old cartoon reruns, and by
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time he came back, they had all become porno theaters. And he was watching John Landis was watching British pornography from the late 70s British pornography. Ugh. And
Because he was
then
like, "Oh, we could drop it in." Yeah, yeah. We would just have a random one in there because the
and
script
he's
did not change from this 1960s to then. But yeah,
and he said he was watching it and said it was so bad that he had to shoot it himself. And then he went like the first day of production, they just shot this
like
softcore porn to put in the background of this movie theater.
yeah, and
I told my
it's
wife that too. I was like, I had to do this for the reasons. That's why I
Yeah.
did it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The- the-
for the reasons. Listen,
because that'd totally be the scene that like your parents walk in if you're watching this movie at home.
yeah, if you're as like a teenager and they're just like, "What is this? What are you watching?"
Yeah.
You
Well,
turn
I
this
like when
off.
the girl she answers the phone and she's like, "No, there's nothing going on." Like, what is happening in the movie?
Well,
Like,
It's
did
so
you
funny.
watch?
Yeah, and
I
the one guy,
rewound it. She's just answering the phone. She's like, "No, no one's here right now."
and then the
I
one guy walks in, and then he's like,
yes, I
"Are
was about
you
to say
this
that. That was
person?"
one of the funniest parts of the movie. Is this thing like these two people are going at it, and then this big jacked guy without a shirt comes in and goes, "How could you do this to me?" Guy goes, "I don't know you. I was talking about her." She's like, "I don't know you." It's like, "Oh, okay," and then just walks out of the
Walks away.
theater, walks out of the
Awesome.
screen. It was so funny.
It was great. It was so
was
good.
so
Yeah, yeah,
random.
yeah.
It was so random. I feel like he could have just Uh, John Landis is a weird guy. Is this a good sequitur, Tommy, to the infamy of John Landis and the Twilight Zone
Okay.
movie?
So Sean, you don't know the John Landis thing. We told you we'd tell you on mic once we start recording. So one of the big things about John Landis, and this is very fucked up to say the least. When they shot the Twilight Zone movie, there was like what 3 or 4 different segments in that movie. One
And
by
they're all directed by
Spielberg.
a different guy, right?
Yeah, one was like Joe Dante, one was Spielberg, one was George Miller, and then the last one was John Landis.
This was
And
the
John,
90s one, right?
No,
80s,
82.
80,
Oh, okay.
it's like
Okay.
it's like a year or two after this. So basically, Vic Morrow was the star of John Landis's segment in Twilight Zone, where basically it's like he's a guy who goes back in time and like tries to right wrongs. And at one point, like the big finale of his segment is that he's like saving these two like Vietnamese children in the Vietnam War. And he's run away from a helicopter, and something happened on set where the helicopter, I think it's like John Landis like had it like fly too close to the actors, and it crashed and killed Vic Morrow and the child actors at the time.
So
And
3 people died during the production of the Twilight Zone movie.
yeah,
Wow, okay.
so
I did not
on
know that. No.
on set, and like Vic Morrow was a famous actor at the time. He's I think Jennifer Jason Leigh's dad, if I remember correctly. And there's a whole court case about it. Like John Landis was like briefly in director's jail and everything like that, and almost like could have been in actual jail for this. So it was a very fucked up thing. But I was talking to Timmy. I was watching like behind the scenes footage from American Werewolf in London, which was a year before all this crazy shit happened on the Twilight Zone. And there's one segment where they're talking about stunts, and there's a quote from John Landis in that segment that said, "Oh, well, no one needs to die over a stunt in a movie. It's just a movie." And it's like, oh, fuck, dude. The
And
way
it,
that aged like milk immediately, like
because
Jesus
that was
Christ.
filmed probably in like 1980, 1981, like just before whenever they were filming this, and then going, doing promotions for this movie because they saw the clip of it, and it's very clearly 80s footage. It's not like him retrospectively saying this, pretending like the Twilight Zone didn't happen. It was
Yeah,
almost like a misdemeanor
it's like
into
a
his own fate.
omen. There's a great Eddie Murphy quote. Eddie Murphy and him had like a huge spat after coming into America. Whole random thing, a whole other tangent we'll get into. But after that movie, like a year or two after, Eddie Murphy in an interview said, "I'll work with John Landis when he works with Vic Morrow again."
That's a that's a
Holy
line and a
shit!
half.
Yeah, yeah. So Jesus Christ, right there.
No, that's wild. That and I did actually so fun fact, right? Not only did I know nothing about this movie, but I didn't know that John Landis was the director. I just put the Blu-ray in. I put the 4K in. I put the beautiful movie in. And I had no idea that it was going to be directed by the guy who made The Three Amigos. So I think that I think that like some of the dialogue, it all made sense after the fact. I wasn't aware that I was sort of walking this comedy horror line. And I wasn't prepared for John Landis at all. So I think his character kind of weighs heavy on the film in multiple ways you can see, but um it's definitely a John Landis film. It's not like a specifically like a horror film. I thought it was going to be this very scary movie, but it was
It's
sort
funnier
of
than
this
it
other thing, right? Yeah.
It's much funnier than you would anticipate.
Mhm.
What the scene when Griffin Dunne confronts him in the porno theater and they're talking and he and like then all the other victims that he killed the night before are there talking to them and they're suggesting ways to kill himself was so like funny. And then
Oh,
Griffin
I
Dunne being
love,
like, no, he's my friend. I don't want it to be painful.
and they're like, "Oh, he's not my friend." I love the one the blonde girl who was like the married couple that he killed, and she's like, "Oh, maybe you could like do this and this," and she's so cheerful about it, just like so happy. Maybe you could kill yourself this way. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, everybody's so like chipper about it. You know what I do appreciate about this because I've seen some of the John Landis comedies. I like that this had like a very British sensibility to the humor of it. Like it was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
humor was very dry, which is definitely right up my alley. Like the part where the investigators come into the doctor's office for the first time and he like spills over the trays and it's just 30 seconds of him trying to reorganize the trays going on. I'm like, this is such British sense of humor. And I appreciate that it like took that country's style of humor and elevated it into this movie instead of trying
Well,
to go more for American humor.
Yeah, this definitely is like a London production through and through because like the only American actors in this movie are or American people in this movie was John Landis himself, the director and writer, and then Griffin Dunne and David Naughton, and they had to get visas for Griffin Dunne and David Naughton, and apparently like the British production was like. Do you really need to bring Griffin Dunne into this movie? We have plenty of American actors that are living in London. Like, couldn't we just use one of them instead? And John Landis was like, no, like, we need Griffin Dunne. So,
I I really liked Griffin Dunne in this too. Like he has I thought when he died, I thought that was it for him, but
mhm,
he has like a small part that just kind of pervades throughout the movie as his undead. What he makes like three appearances as an undead,
mhm.
and
And
they're all
everyone more and more fucked up makeup to the point of
yeah,
the last scene in the porno theater that apparently was Griffin Dunne controlling a puppet while, like when he's like the whole skeleton, green
yeah,
skeleton thing.
that one I could tell was. I mean, it looks fantastic. You can
So
definitely feel that makeup there.
let me ask you guys this. Do you think this movie would have been better if the roles were switched? If it was Griffin Dunne in the lead and David Naughton as the best friend?
That's such an interesting question because I got so excited to see that Griffin Dunne was in the movie, having recently watched After Hours maybe 3 months ago. And I knew that he wasn't the main character, and I was like initially a little disappointed, especially when he died. But I think that, you know, for the story, I think that he was the exact character that he should have been. And although I sort of like him better than
David
the main
Naughton.
character, David, yeah, he fits the role. I mean,
It was
it
cast right.
absolutely, yeah, 1,000,000%,
Well,
a hundred
it's
percent.
also like the tall guy and short guy type thing. It fit perfectly in that sense. I did meet Dave Naughton last month at the Horror Fest. He was a really nice guy, chill old guy that didn't do anything. It's kind of shocking that like he didn't have a career after this. Really, he's really known for like the Dr Pepper commercials at the time, and that was about it. So,
Well, I feel like especially in that age, it's not the case anymore. But if you hedged yourself into commercials at that time, you kind of got stuck in them if you did it while you were an established actor.
mm,
It was kind
Yeah,
of
it's
like a
such a
death
shame.
knell on a career.
yeah,
Yeah, he was good. He was good in this.
I
it's
looked at his IMDb after I watched the movie, and I saw he's done a bunch of stuff, but like this was the last great thing he ever did, and it's such a shame because he did an amazing job. I mean, it was awesome. He held the movie together.
yeah. I mean, he had like a sitcom in the '80s that lasted for like 40 episodes or something like that, which is
Fo-
nothing to sneeze at. But
Following up Hot Dog the movie, or following up American Werewolf in London with Hot Dog the movie, an American sex comedy ski film is probably not the best choice career-wise.
yeah, yeah, unfortunately. But
Uh,
Tim, what do you think? Do you think it was cast perfectly? You think Griffin Dunne
yeah,
should
I
have?
thought it was cast right. There's that chipper quality to Griffin Dunne that he has that I felt like they could have been interchanged when they were hiking through the moors of England. They could have been interchanged,
Mm,
but there was this quality to Griffin Dunne, and you mentioned it before, this like cheerful chipperness that he brought, and like having this sly sense of humor to him that really conveys throughout that. It was like a perfect casting choice, in my opinion.
yeah, I I think that Griffin Dunne could have done the David Kessler role, but I don't think David Naughton could have done the Jack Omen role as well.
Yeah, no, and David Naughton for the role of Jack,
Or
he has to bring this sort of, I want to say manic, but just like this exacerbation to him that he
to Kessler, you
needs,
mean? Yeah,
and just this bewilderment and then being able to convey the pain of the transformation as well. I thought he did that was probably the best part of his performance, in my opinion. Um,
uh, oh, easily. And I do love how like this movie like has the whole sequence where he transforms and he attacks the people. I mean, there's some great shots in the whole entire like attack on London that he has, the first initial one. Especially, I think the highlight of that sequence was after the transformation, of course, was the one guy in the subway train. And you see the one shot of the
It's incredible.
yeah
I
of
agree with you 1,000,000%. I know exactly what you're
yeah, the
talking about.
subway
it
tracking shot.
the shot where it's like the Kessler werewolf approaching the guy as he's like trying to like back up into the escalator. It's such an amazing
And
shot.
then the shot from the top of it too is
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Oh,
that's what I'm
you
talking
fantastic.
about. The
just
top.
see the body of the werewolf. It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, and I like that they don't show you the full werewolf like a lot, and they really keep that like a little hidden and stuff like that. Because, I mean, I imagine it was probably like a puppet or something like that, and in live action, it probably could only be so effective.
Oh, so I actually I watched like a behind the scenes on the 4K. So they actually tell you how they did that. Was there's a guy on a board. So like they're holding up a board and there's a guy laying on the board and the front legs of the werewolf are the arms of this guy who's in this suit. And then the two back hind legs are actually like puppeteers. So there's
Oh.
someone sort of crawling forward and then the legs are moving with the thing. And that's why they'll cut before the very end. You won't see its butt. You won't see its ass.
Yeah.
Because there's like puppeteers there. But it's really cool actually, and the special feature is so awesome on how they built that thing. I did a deep dive, and it's been really cool seeing how they made that.
Yeah, everything that like because Rick Baker said like he based like the werewolf based on like a dog he used to have back in the day at the time, and the design is cool. I like that because I think John Lance brought this up that like the Wolfman and even in the Howling and like a lot of classic werewolves they're bipedal where like they stand on two legs and they're basically a man with the furry like essentially a man that hasn't shaved in like 30 days or something like that or in a few months. Whereas this is just like a straight up animal.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's a cool transformation, for sure. The one other thing we haven't talked about at all is the romance between David Naughton and Jenny Otter. Uh,
Let's talk
which
about it.
let's
Yeah.
talk about it because it's a little weird of how it gets set up. She's the nurse at the hospital taking care for him, and they have like their little flirtatious moments going back and forth.
Mhm.
But after he sees Griffin Dunne and he's like panicking, calling the nurse, and she comes in and he's like, I just saw my dead friend. I think I'm a werewolf. I'm going to become a werewolf. And she's like, well, they're discharging you. Do you have a place to stay? Just invites him over to her place. I
I
was like, oh,
I
okay.
I do like how she like seduces him where she's like, I've had 7 partners, 3 of which are one night stands, and I don't usually bring back American men to my apartment, but why don't you come back here? It's like, okay,
And
all right.
and then she's like, well, I'm going to take a shower. Do you want to watch the telly while I do that? And then just hard cuts to them in the shower.
So that's like the best cut I've ever seen because it tells you so much. That's such
Yeah.
an amazing editing trick because
Mm.
she's showing that I want to talk about this because I actually like wrote a note about that exact cut. Um, she's nervous. Like she wants to, obviously she invited him over. She's a psycho, right? Because like you said, Tim, a minute ago, he said, I just saw my dead friend. He said, I'm going to turn into a werewolf. And then she was like, where are you sleeping tonight, dude?
Yeah, you're
And then
someone I
they
want to
sh
sleep with.
they cut right to they're just walking and they're like holding hands. He's like, who lives with you? I mean, it's wild. And then, so she says, they're in the bedroom, right? They did the tour. They're in the bedroom, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna take a shower, and you just like watch a little telly. And like she's British and cute, and she's like, telly. I'm gonna watch a little telly. And so he doesn't, right? He's in the shower with her. That's all we need to know. It's the best cut I've ever seen. It's
It's a
incredible.
really great cut.
Yeah.
It's exactly instead of some like
He's not watching the telly.
yeah, instead of some like cheeky dialogue of like, oh yeah, baby, why don't I watch you? And then just like bam, 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 bam.
And he
Exactly.
doesn't give
We
her
don't
her
need that.
space either. He's in the shower.
Yeah,
We do.
it's a really good cut and then a pretty long
Well,
sex scene.
also, I think that it's like partially like him, like his sex drive is so much increased because the werewolf in him.
Yeah, well, that was funny. Like even
That's true.
after his like first transformation, and he goes back to the house, and they're like, "Where were you?" He's like, "I woke up in the zoo, in the wolf pit." And
She's
then
like, that's cool, dude. It's fine.
yeah, we're just
Like,
gonna go see the
you
doctor.
Americans.
You
It's terrible.
Americans.
A typical American experience.
And
She
he's like,
says, her line, she says, "So attractive. I find you so attractive." She says like 4 times. That's her line.
that's her
So it
pickup
doesn't matter
move.
what he does. He's like, "I think I'm a werewolf." She's like, "You're crazy or you're attractive." He's like, I woke up next to some wolves." She's like, "Oh, you're so attractive." Like
She's into the
I
crazy. She's into the crazy.
She's
I
all about
like
the
her.
werewolf. Yeah.
She's cool.
She's cool.
Yeah.
She's with it. She's hip. And then
She
when
had a
like
decent career, Jenny Agutter. She was in Logan's Run as like one of the main love interests or something like that in that. And the only thing I know her from, she was the stepmom in Child's Play 2, the second Chucky movie.
I've seen that.
Yeah, she was like the stepmom that gets killed in that. Spoiler, but
It's weird that I've seen that movie. I feel like I
you haven't
didn't.
seen the first because I remember we talked about covering a Chucky movie, and you're like, I saw the second. I don't think I need to see the first. I was like,
I stand.
eventually.
I stand by that.
Yeah.
I stand by that point there.
Sean, any hot takes about the Chucky franchise?
That was actually the first like horror movie to scare me so bad that I was like telling people like I'm scared of Chucky. I am
Yeah,
frightened of this doll.
'Cause
Yeah,
when
it
you're a
affected
kid-
me. It affected
when you're
me.
a kid, when you're a kid, that's the most terrifying thing ever. Like my toy could come to life and kill me.
Freddy
Certain-
was cool. Like Freddy was cool because he was funny, but Chucky was like a toy that was gonna murder me. I don't like him. No, I don't like Chuck.
I'm the same way, dude. I'm the same way. I feel the exact same way.
Tight.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
All right. Who is the star of the show? Who gave the best performance? Tommy, you've seen this 6 or 7 times. Why don't you kick us off?
I want to talk about someone briefly. He's not my pick, but we didn't talk about him at all yet, and it's shocking because we have a segment about the Muppets on this. Frank Oz, great
Oh,
one-scene
yes.
performance.
We talked about it before this.
I'm
we
so
talked about-
glad you brought him up.
Because I think that one scene of him saying like Mr. Kessler, Mr. Kessler, Mr. Kessler is like one of the most hilarious things in this movie that just makes me laugh every time I see this. Just his voice just saying that to Kessler over and over again just fucking has me dying.
Is anyone else a fan of Arrested Development?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because all I could think of was Tobias.
Yes.
All I could think
Yeah.
of was
Yes.
Tobias.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, he has such a Tobias energy to him.
Tobias
It was
energy.
wild. He was like, "Sir, why are you so hysterical, sir?"
He just found out his best friend died by a raving lunatic. Why are you so hysterical? These kids have no dang respect. I was
We
just-
need to sedate him. I don't know why he's acting. It was. I loved it. It was amazing. And then I found out it was Frank Oz after. So I mean, so cool.
I don't go on my phone when I'm watching the movies, but I literally had to pick up and be like, I'm 90% sure that's Frank Oz.
Yeah.
And this
And
is
he ra-
that's not the only John Landis movie he has a small cameo in, because in Blues Brothers, he's the guy at the start of the movie when Jake gets his stuff back and he's like, one soiled. That's Frank
Yeah.
Oz.
And technically, he appears twice in this movie because he's Miss Piggy in the Muppet scene.
True.
Yeah.
True. Although
Awesome. That's so cool.
I don't think that was filmed for it. But yeah, Frank Oz was just a great, hilarious cameo notice. But Tommy, who do you
In
think?
terms of actual, like my actual pick, I think I'm gonna have to go with Griffin Dunne. I think that Griffin Dunne just has a great comedic energy to this movie. I think that like he sells like the seeing him in that makeup is pretty scary, but then it sells the tone of like the comedy horror of it. That instead of being like a scary like ghoul or something, he's like, "Hey man, what's going on? Like, how you doing? You gotta kill yourself, by the way. Like, just heads up." You're a werewolf now. Like, you gotta kill yourself and everything. It's just such a funny thing throughout. It's just a great like through line throughout this movie where you keep on popping up, and he's like, "Oh, now he's practically like a zombie husk at this point towards the end of the movie."
Yeah, he's like a rotting corpse, and it's very cool. Sean, what about you? Who did you think gave the best performance?
Is this like a cop-out answer if I say the VFX? Because I think that was like my favorite
No,
was
I
my
like
favorite
Totally.
thing
Rick
about
Baker,
the
yeah.
movie and the characterization. And I watched some special features about Rick Baker and some interviews and stuff. But I think when you really look at the movie, it was about the transformation. It was about the wolf itself. So I really liked the werewolf. I really enjoyed the werewolf. and I thought it was so um it was like the whole movie exists for those scenes. And so yeah, I give it to the werewolf. Second, Griffin Dunne. Like he just made the movie fun. And then the nurse, you know.
So then I'm gonna say David Naughton. I was leaning towards Griffin Dunne, but I think he had the challenge of making us emotionally connect to somebody who didn't know what was going on, and I felt like he did that really effectively. And then just his performance during the transformation scene of not overselling, like it's not overacted in my opinion. It's like a perfect depiction of the pain that he's going through, which I think is a really hard line to balance and not overselling it completely. So that's why I'm leaning towards David Naughton. But I mean, it's a coin flip between him and Griffin Dunne, in my opinion. And Jenny Agutter was fantastic as well. Really good performances all around in this movie.
And we didn't even talk about the doctor, John Woodvine, who throughout the movie, who's the one who investigates everything with the.
He's great.
Yeah, he's great too. Just a classically trained British actor. Just
And he only passed away recently. I think like earlier this month, at the age of like 96.
wow, good for him. What a life.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
really liked, if you know what, if he just passed away, I want to say one of my favorite things about the movie was that he had this feud with one of his colleagues, and he just did not want to talk to him on the phone whatsoever. No matter what. It was so funny. It had nothing to do with anything.
Just tell him I'm dead.
He doesn't want to talk to him. I just can't with this guy. It was amazing. It was so funny.
Yeah, I do also want to shout out the inspector throughout the movie, who at the end of the movie gets his fucking head decapitated in the London Square. Which what
Piccadilly Square.
Well deserving. Yeah. He had it coming, you know.
He was not a good detective.
Yeah, I do also want to touch upon the ending about how funny the smash cut is to seeing Jenny Agutter crying over David Naughton's like dead body to immediately cut into Blue Moon.
Yeah,
the cheerful about bob 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 bob. I remember when I watched this with our buddy Will once. Tim, he was dying laughing. Like
it was so crazy. She's like crying, and then it's just hard cuts to dun 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 dun.
It's amazing. It makes me laugh. Every
Makes
time
the
I watch
movie.
this movie.
It makes it. It's incredible. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just telling you, you don't need to take this too seriously. It's just a fun movie. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a great way to end it.
Are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
All right, fellas. Sean, I don't know how familiar you are with the Muppets, but do you think An American Werewolf in London would work as a Muppet adaptation? They are featured in the film. Is this the first time we're seeing the Muppets featured?
I think this might be. Yeah. I don't know if we've ever seen the Muppets before in one of the movies we covered.
Which leads me to say yes. I feel like there's already puppetry going on here with the werewolf.
So, would you keep David Naughton or would you make David Naughton Kermit?
I think Kermit and Fozzie would just be too fun. Like, I don't know if we necessarily need a human character.
You have Kermit as David Naughton, and then fucking Fozzie is Jack Goodman, and then Frank Oz is still Frank Oz. He's the only human.
He's the only human.
Wait. I totally disagree. Hang on a second. Hang on.
Okay.
Hold the presses.
Okay.
Wait a sec. So first of all, yes, it's obviously a Muppets movie. There's no question. But I think you have to have your human character, like the David Naughton guy. I think that still has to be a human because he's transforming into start as a Muppet.
Yeah.
All right, let's be real, guys.
Fair enough.
Can't have a Muppet turn into a werewolf. That's what a waste of my time. I think the Griffin he should be Gonzo. There's no question.
Or something like that.
Yes, and he's like kind of silly and stuff, and he's kind of messy and sloppy. I think this works as a Muppet movie. Absolutely.
I agree with you on the Gonzo. I think it can work, old Muppet transforming into a werewolf, and you just see like the felt exploding out of the back and like the transformation. Like, I think you could have a lot of fun with the puppetry there.
Well,
what if they turned into Fozzie Bear and then he was just Fozzie Bear?
That's what I was gonna say. You turn to Sweetums or Fozzie Bear.
He's just like, hey, what's up?
Waka waka.
An American Muppet in London is the name of the movie.
I like it.
I like it.
Actually, Muppet Treasure Island is like a childhood favorite of mine.
Fantastic.
So.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Fantastic. All right, so we agree. Muppet, a Muppet Werewolf in London. Um, or a Muppet Fozzie Bear in London. All right, review time. Give me your score out of 5. Tommy, why don't you kick us off?
All right, I think this is like the ideal platonic. John Landis is really able to like, handle the through line between like handling the scares and handling like the comedy. I think that the central performances of like David Naughton, Jenny Agutter, and Griffin Dunne are just so much fun. And I think that the special effects are fantastic and some of the best special effects we see out of the '80s and in general. So I'm gonna go 4.5 out of 5. This movie's a blast. It's always fun to rewatch. So
All right, Sean, how about you?
I mean, I think it's a solid 4 for me, and that's just because it's super fun. I see myself now after never having watched it ever before. This is going to be something that I rewatch again and again, and I like look forward to those future rewatches and taking more from the movie. But I mean, there's no question that the special effects at the time were innovative and then like kind of led the way for where horror was going to go. But watching now in like 2025, it's just incredible. It's so fun to watch. It's so cool to see something real happening. I miss that so much. And so for me, this is like a big recommend. I'm going to watch it again and again. And if you haven't seen it like me, you have to see it. So I loved it. Yeah.
I agree. I was initially going to go 3.5, but after talking about the movie, I bumped it up to a 4. I've really enjoyed this movie. I've really enjoyed this discussion about it. Really funny movie with really fantastic effects, really well-paced movie. Uh, Really great use of tension by John Landis. We didn't really touch upon it in terms of like the directing, but there's just a lot of really great tense moments throughout the film that he's able to execute wonderfully. I loved the little like Lynchian moments with the dream sequences. I don't know how else to describe them other than like a Twin Peaks fever dream. Um, this is definitely going to go get added to the Halloween rewatch list along with Psycho and The Exorcist, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's one of those movies that once you see it, you understand why it was one of the most popular movie posters in America. All right. Well, Sean, thank you so much for coming on, man. We really enjoyed having you on here. Do you want to let the people know where they can find you?
I've got a little YouTube page. Just search Film School Dad, and I'm on Twitter, Film School Dad. There's some underscores between the words, and yeah, thanks so much for having me. This was really fun. I loved talking to you guys. I loved watching the movie, and I really, really, really enjoyed talking about the movie. It makes me just want to watch it again and do more first watches and see stuff I haven't seen before. So
Oh
thank you
yeah.
so much.
Go make sure you when you search him on YouTube, you hit that subscribe page, you hit that subscribe button. I think you hit a bell, right? If you want to get notified when his new videos. That's what I'm going to be doing right after this is done recording here. So make sure you give him a follow on YouTube, help him grow his channel here. Tommy, any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
well, Sean, I'm glad we made you cover a movie that you liked because it would have been really awkward if it was a movie we all hated or something like that. I've been like,
The Friday the 13th.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
just
We
sitting
covered,
here being like, this stunk.
yeah, this was a piece of shit or
Would
something.
have talked just as much. It just would have been like a
Yeah,
bummer.
yeah, exactly. So, but anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. You can follow us on social media. That's at Seen It Pod. That's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're also on Blue Sky. That's podscene.bluesky.social. And leave us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Helps us out. Helps us really grow the show. And next week, we're out of horror technically, but we're gonna be covering a classic that Tim and I both love that our friend Ryan Davey has never seen before, Aliens. So really
I'm
excited for that one.
excited. I haven't seen Aliens in a couple of years. I'm very excited to rewatch it. Thank you all